Hi, I'm Aaliyah.
And I'm Johnna, and welcome to Lit and
To
Loud.
Lit and Loud.
Big gap there.
Felt it. It was right in my ears, baby.
Oh, someday.
Don't you love it?
Someday we're going to record in the same room and no one's going to know what hit them.
We won't. Hi, Diva.
Hi, how you doing? How you doing, Diva?
Good. I'm good. We've been talking for an hour, so it's always funny to jump into the pod and be like, well, we've been scheming for an hour before this, so
yeah. We did just
I'm doing good.
Do more mapping than we've done since our initial meeting for the podcast, so we accomplished a lot.
We did. It wasn't a frivolous time spent, but we really have some exciting things on the docket, and I'm just giddy about it.
What are you reading?
Oh, I am reading. It's been an interesting week. I DNF 2 books with the strength from my sister.
Of you.
I texted you and I was like, am I a bad person if I DNF this book?
No.
Mainly the 2 books I DNF'd mainly because the first one I couldn't get behind the pacing of the book, and I have a lot of exciting things to read, so it was really hard for me to like push through and just like let it be in the background because I'm trying to be very intentional about like my listening time and then also my physical reading time. So I DNF'd that one, and then the second one I got like 20% of the way in, and it was very heavy content, and I just was not mentally prepared for that. So riding the DNF high, I was like, actually, I'm going to let this one go and shift into some other stuff. And that literally happened today. I was like, I'm going to DNF this, and I'm going to start Project Hail Mary tomorrow. So locking in for that.
Savior of the universe.
Yes.
But doesn't it feel so good to free yourself from that? Like you could have spent another 8 hours of your life listening to these books, but instead you get to start something you're excited about. You're free.
Exactly. I am free, and I think there's this clip of Chris Fleming, the comedian. Do you know about him? He's so funny. He was like, someone asked him like why he doesn't start a podcast because he's just amazing at this, you know? And he goes, well, I think there's something waiting for me in the divine if I do not. And that's how I feel about DNFing books. That's exactly how I feel. So I choked her.
You killed me. You killed me. Oh my God.
So yeah, that's how I've felt about DNFing books. I'm like, I'm gonna get to the pearly gates and just like just be a better person for finishing these books.
Your books.
Right. But no, I think I'm just taking care of myself and like riding the wave I'm on, and that says to just get into Project Hail Mary.
For you. Like I feel like there's no better service you can do for yourself than respecting your time. And once I really thought like I would have spent 8 hours listening to this book
13
that I didn't want to listen to. I'm free.
So yes, I'm going to be starting Project Hail Mary tomorrow. I was reading Margo's Got Money Troubles, so it was okay. Like I had a good juicy book to go back into, and obviously I'm all up in that. And I finished that as well this week. And I'm also reading an arc that we received because we will be interviewing the author, which is just like the craziest thing. People want to hear from us. People want to be interviewed by us. Beat the Divas. But yes, that book is Love in the West End by Maude Winters. We're very excited to chat with Maude. And I am just eating this book up. It's my Kindle read, tuck into bed, reading at 1 a.m, and it's theater kid coded, and it's sapphic, and there's big personalities, and I'm already very into it. So it's a romance as well. Sorry, it's a romance. Love in the West End.
Wait to dive in there.
So good. I will probably be finishing it or still reading it somewhere in the middle of that on vacation a couple weeks because I'm such a slow physical reader. So I can't wait to be like on vacation and seeing everything develop. I'm just excited for it.
Sitting poolside with the Kindle.
Yes, I'm so excited. Yes. So that's what I've been reading. Yes. What are you reading? I know you're reading something very exciting.
I finished Game On by Nevessa Allen. It came out 2 days ago. I was really surprised to see that I was that ahead of my Libby hold, that I was able to get it the day of. So this is the third, if this is not ringing any bells for people, this is the third Into the Darkness novel. So this is the third in the trilogy. Lights Out, Caught Up, Game On. I'm so proud to report she has stuck the landing.
I'm so glad.
It's good. It was so good. I remember really struggling to connect with Caught Up. I didn't love the story.
Same.
I didn't love the romance. There was all this stuff happening. And I gotta say, we're in a little bit of an age gap situation.
Got you.
The male main character is raging bisexual. There's so many great things happening in here. I remember, because we get introduced to these characters, and I remember being like, oh, we're gonna be in a fucking poker gimmick? It's a bookie? No. The banter is back. The tension is back. The forced proximity. Don't get me wrong. I don't want anyone to think that this is Lights Out, because she struck gold. And I think the more I think about it, she struck gold because of the way she wrote Josh. He is an incredible character. He is the bread and butter. He is the
blueprint. Yeah.
Yes. The original book boyfriend.
Here's the thing with Josh. I feel like Josh is very similar to the goofs and the losers. So with the girlies like us.
I'm blushing. You're so right.
I feel like they are so similar. So I feel like that's why it hit for us. Even though like we both agree on like the writing in the book is not like anything extra, like it isn't anything crazy, but it's the character and the
gold.
Exactly. And he hits it so well. He is like one of our boys.
There are definitely parts of this that are like a little heavy-handed with like, I feel like the author really tried to shoehorn in something about this person that they're like in this. But overall, the banter is back. I liked this book so much more than I liked Caught Up. I feel so good about it. So that is really exciting. That was a super exciting read this week, because I know that we've talked about not being super excited about that book coming out, or being skeptical. We were always excited. Yes. So yes, go read that, because it's
2 weeks.
Great.
I got a 2-week hold on it.
Weeks. Let's go. The other thing I am reading is Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. And I do have to say, this book is taking me somewhere where I am like, in what's gonna happen? It's real weird. 71% the way in. I have 3 hours left. So there are pieces of this that very much remind me of the absolute fog that you view None of This Is True through. Because you're like, what's happening? Who's narrating this? What's going on? Where is this going? This makes no sense. There's all those pieces in this that I understand what's going on, but I'm deeply confused, because I'm like, where is this going? So I am happy to be reading. It's a good reading week for me. I'm very happy to be reading this. And then I'm obviously also in Margo. So much good reading this week. So many things to be excited about.
I'm happy for you. I am very excited about Game On as well. And I was just thinking the thing I've been lacking is a good thriller. So I'll throw it on my list. I probably have something on hold, but I love to be always, I love to have my toes in a thriller always, because I need like story development. And I feel like a lot of the romance can get very character heavy. And I just want a plot. I want shit to be like, like that's what I want sometimes from a book. And thrillers are usually the thing that can provide that. So I'm happy you have like this diversity. I feel like it's doing good for you.
Yeah, I very much recommend.
Yeah, killer.
Good reading week. What are you watching?
I am watching The Pitt. I only have 2 things listed. I have not been doing a lot of. No, I have 3 things actually. I forgot to add it on here. So I'm watching The Pitt, which we can like have a little discussion when we go through your list. But the other thing that I'm watching is New Girl. We're continuing on. We're like almost done with season 1. It's just short enough where like I don't fall asleep at night and like we actually enjoy ourselves. And then sometimes we'll have a cheeky 2 episode. I feel like so much of the stuff I've been watching has been like hour long, hour and a half long, like nearly movie length TV shows that are heavy in content, like the Game of Thrones, the Pitt, like it is heavy up in here. It's a lot of heavy content that I've been engaging with. So this has been nice and light, more stupid television. The last thing that I've been watching is RuPaul's Drag Race. Again, we're caught up. Spoilers are ahead for anyone that hasn't seen it yet, but I need to gripe.
Gripe away, mama.
So did I do this last episode about Jane Don't leaving?
About the spoiler? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I don't need to gripe. Nonetheless, pissed off. Count me in.
Hold on. So as someone who listened to last episode, you griped about her leaving. You have since watched the episode, so you know why she was sent home.
This is why. Yes. Okay.
Do you think she deserved it?
I don't think so. I think at the core, the challenge was bad. So the challenge was an acting challenge, improv challenge that you play off of RuPaul, which is scary enough. And then the content is Karen's Gone Wild, and each Karen, they had like a different structure. So they each pick a scenario, being pulled over, shoplifting, all these different ones. So Jane got Karen in the airport, flight left her. And I wouldn't say anyone was like stand out in this. Like I think Mikey did really well, of course, because it was a lot of like body humor and a lot of like changing, like switching and changing and like being dynamic and actually playing off RuPaul. And I think Darlene did the same thing, but she wasn't really a Karen. For Jane, I think she stated in the beginning of the episode that she like wasn't very into the whole thing. She hates watching the Karen videos. Like she already kind of had this like, this feels stupid. And I agree. I'm going to be honest. Like there's nothing.
When you just told me what this challenge was, I was like, that sounds really shitty. And that feels like a real phone in for Drag Race.
So I feel like that's a lot of challenges lately. I feel like it's getting so overdone and they're trying to be creative. And it's like the Karen thing.
We're almost 20 seasons in. What are you going to do?
Right. And like how much like they want to see talent, but they don't want to see these queens doing the same thing. So it's like, I get it. You're trying to be with the times. And the whole thing is that RuPaul is like canonically online and is like a TikTok warrior. Like I be watching this bitch do crazy shit. So she's like, I love Karen videos. Like that's the gag. But it's also like something that I don't enjoy personally watching. Like I don't like seeing white women throw tantrums. Like I don't like seeing grown people don't throw tantrums. It's always like, okay.
No.
So it's just, it was already like, okay. And then like, she did fine. She did the thing and she was like rolling on the floor and she was like pretending to like video, like, oh, you hit me, like recording RuPaul. And like, Ru's just not engaging with her. Like not in the same way that she was with the other girls. So I was like, okay, I'm calling it.
Set up for
and
failure?
And then her runway. So the runway was like basically like a reveal. It's like a sexy reveal. And she came out in like Wuthering Heights, like candle, like full gown to the floor. And she stripped off and she was in like really intricate red boudoir and she was like dripping the candle on her. She looked fucking incredible because that's the thing. She pulls out every runway, but they were like, it wasn't really like, it didn't make sense. Whereas one of the girls came out as Lady Liberty and then was a sexy version of Lady Liberty. Nini Coco did that. So like, it's all like it's all subjective. And I don't know. So like, I feel like part of it was rigged. And this is where everyone gets super disappointed with Drag Race, because this is a common theme of these later seasons where it's already kind of made for some person. And like Jane has been in the top, if not winning every episode. And like, there have been girls who have just been pooping, shitting all over that fucking runway, all over these challenges. And they're like, oh, like we're keeping you because all this growth you've done this season. And it's like, boo. So I'm feeling like we're going to finish it.
Can I bring you this from Pandora Box? And I read it and I knew exactly what she was talking about. So she posted, this is a Facebook post, baby, like a mom. And it says, and everyone is talking about it. That's always the point. Shrug emoji. If you know, you know. #5th. And then like the top few comments are, all this controversy and conversation about her might be better for her career than if she had won. And then someone else said, this list of undeserved fifth placers who became legends just continues to grow. So I also saw Pandora interact with this at some point and be like, it's always fifth place. Like, go back and look, and it's always intentional. So
yeah, it's starting to seem formulaic, and it makes it as a viewer really hard to like root for people. And like, that was the fun of Drag Race, is then I get to go out in my community and go see the bitch, you know? And I get but it's all for like image and like career building. And like Pandora said, I agree, like more often than not the controversy is ultimately going to push her further, and like, yeah, that's a favor, but also like there's money on the line, you know, these kits aren't cheap that they leave. Like, it just feels like an icky way to go about it. I'm also not part of that world, so I get she's probably not as mad as she should be or would be.
Right. Pandora posted again and said, y'all, fifth place, it's all right in front of you, just saying. And someone commented, you, Katya, Dela, on and on and on.
Yep.
So apparently Jane Don't just fell into place, unfortunately.
Yeah. So it felt like garbage, and like everyone's like, I'm done watching the season. Like, it's already a wrap. Like, congratulations, Mikey Meeks. And like, that sucks for Mikey also. So the winner has this,
now no one cares about her.
Right. And like, she's actually super talented. She actually has killed this competition. They've been my top 2 since I started talking about it. Like, so it really just does a disservice for the queens in general, even the winner. And like, yeah, you can leave, but like, that ultimately is a community. And if you know anything about any queer communities, like, that is probably runs deep and wild. And like, the Drag Race girls look out for each other. They have each other on each other's podcasts. They do projects together. They can hash it out, and everything can be different behind the scenes. But it just sucks that Ru is the driver of this. And so like, that's why I'm happy there's things like Dragula, and then there's one for Drag Kings. There's a new show. I think it had 1 season. It got renewed for another. So like, I'm glad there's more out there, and like, Ru's not being the only person like monopolizing on the drag community. So, but obviously she has such a hand in it, and it just sucks.
Right. She can't be trusted anymore.
No.
Bring back the season 1 filter.
Bring it back. What are you watching?
So I am continuing on with my Righteous Gemstones rewatch, and I got to the end of season 3 yesterday, which is when the family all comes together and they're smashing shit. They're all taking turns smashing shit with the monster truck. And then they cut to that scene with Amy Lee leaned up against the fence staring at her family. I was crying, which is the way that funny. The show is so bonkers, but at the same time, I'm like, she's looking down on him. Like,
it happens at the end too, and it gets me like
so crazy, because it will take you to places that you have no idea you're capable of going, and then flip it around, and you realize that you are so deeply invested in these characters that you're literally crying over them after just, you know, watching the most absurd things you've ever seen in your whole life.
Absolutely.
So
couldn't agree.
I don't regret being in there. I'm going to be sad when it's over. I'm thinking when it's over, I'm going to get back in on Severance, do a little rewatch, feel a little weird.
Well, ma'am, actually, you might have to hold your horses, because you know what's coming out soon, mid-April. Euphoria. And Margo.
Both. I don't feel optimistic about this season of Euphoria. I think it's going to be terrible.
I think it's going to be interesting, to say the least, and I have to talk about it with someone. Bitch.
Yeah. If anyone wants to know like where Aaliyah and I have been mentally for 5 years, it's watching the season finale of Euphoria in my living room after going to see JoJo Siwa and being absolutely gooped by it.
Oh, gooped. It was so fun. It felt girlhood coded.
Peak girlhood. Yes, I can get in there. I mean, I'm not gonna watch it, but I don't feel good about it, and that's fine.
I mean, yeah, I mean, so many people have died from the show. It's in a completely different landscape
people
now.
Have left 5 years in the
5
future.
years.
So we are re-entering the characters in their post-college life.
Yeah, it'll be good. I think it'll be good to talk about, but it'll be something. Because I remember just like feeling so like integrated in that show. Like not myself, but like as I was watching it, I was like, this is crazy. It gives me the same energy as Glee, and I cannot elaborate. That's all.
Fair enough.
Crazy statement.
The other thing I am watching is Jury Duty Presents Company Retreat. If you know me, Jury Duty is one of my favorite shows ever. That is my humor exactly. I think that show is so funny. The premise of the show is so funny. And I often think that I am on the show. Like this is some shit that would happen to me. They'd be like, oh my God, this idiot. Let's send her into a fake jury duty. So that just really cracks my ass up. The new season is company retreat. So they have hired a temp and they send him to a company retreat for Rockin' Grandma's hot sauce. And everything that happens is so bonkers. But the one point I am going to very specifically touch on is the last episode that came out. Because the thing is, like, the premise of it is they're recording this final retreat because the CEO is retiring and handing the company over to his son. So there's people recording because they're doing it like for archival purposes. He looks at the camera and he goes, "This is such a genuine moment. You couldn't even write this for TV. This is so real life."
Here's my thing.
This guy is such a good sport.
Is he? They always pick these.
So sweet.
Like, I have to know, like, the process to get someone to do that. Like, I understand they have no idea.
I think that they said 40,000 people applied to this for a temp position at the hot sauce place.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That sounds crazy now that I said it out loud, but it was an astronomical number.
But think about sitting down for an interview for a job and like, or watching this after you've interviewed for this.
I was really happy that they hired him for a temp position because I'm pretty sure that they gave the jury duty guy money at the end. But like jury duty is a finite thing. Like if they promised this guy a job and then set him up to work at a fake company and then like I would have felt really bad. But him being a temp, I was like, we're good. He expected this to be short term.
Okay, yeah,
yes,
that's true.
Get in there because it's simply bonkers.
It is on my list. I'm very excited. I saw the trailer for it I think 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh my God, it's time again. I just like the psychological. I wonder if they like pay for therapy after this shit, because that was what I was thinking after jury duty specifically.
How do you think anything else in your life is real?
This is what I'm saying. Like that has to psychologically fuck you for life. Because like I would get if I was like Truman Showed in that way, in that caliber, I would get like everything that I'm doing. I'd be like, is this real or fake? Everything. Right. Is my job real or fake?
Psychosis. Yeah.
Same. I'm not strong enough.
So yeah, dive in there. The hero this season, his name is Anthony, and he he is literally, he has the best attitude. He is such a good sport. Like the situations they are putting this man in, and he just rolls right out of them and does the best thing. Like I don't know how they vet these people, but they found another perfect candidate. He is such a sweet man.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure something like this, it's got to be like like they have to be doing some sort of like psychological personality tests through interviewing in a way.
In a job interview, which is crazy. What are you obsessed with?
I am obsessed with two things. Hyper specific. One of them is the 1.5 mile paved loop that is 5 minutes away from my house. It was recommended to us, and I'm just so excited to get out there and skate this summer. It is a very narrow trail, but it's got like a little bit of incline. There's a few drops. It's real windy. It'll be fun. There's windy bits. There's really straight.
I love that.
My second obsession is this print, me and my artwork once again. There she is. It is a flash of course, he did Rivalry. It was really Scott and Kip that got me up here because, like, I'd get that tattooed. I also love the keychain. I love it all. But this is from Bright Blue Tattoo out of Illinois. What are you obsessed with?
I am obsessed with two things. One, making it to our trip to Florida. Very obsessed with that. I'm working on all the work, which some days the work is just going to sleep and waking up the next day. But also there is work that is like costuming and things like that. And getting to there, I have to finish my Run Disney costuming before I attempt to make a Harley LaRue fan club shirt. Really hope this pans out for me because we're going to go to a cute bookstore and like I need a picture in it. But who knows if this actually shakes out. And the second thing I'm obsessed with is our local ice cream store is full back open, which means I get they close and they're only open like Friday, Saturday, Sunday through the winter, but they're full back and they have an ice cream drive through. So I ate a soft serve cone for lunch today.
Love.
I have a bagel and soft serve in me all day, and it's 7:30 p.m.
Are you vibrating?
I feel like I ate it 2 minutes ago, and it's just sitting in my body. Weird. I don't know. So then I put dairy on it.
Put some dairy on it. All right, friends, we are back into Margo's Got Money Troubles by Rufi Thorpe, part 2, baby. Just as a heads up, trigger warnings ahead, grooming, addiction, and substance abuse. So take care of yourselves, friends. Take it away.
So to give a little recap of where we got in the first episode, we met Margo, who was 19, pregnant. She had been knocked up by her college professor. She has since had the baby. Her ex-pro wrestler dad has moved in with her, and she has opened up an OnlyFans account to try to make it work with childcare and having the baby. She has just become allies with her friend Wang Mangler to do a co-sponsorship on her page, and Margo agreed to do it and then immediately threw up. Where we enter, we are in chapter 8, and we jump to Margo and the baby Bodhi are lying on the bathroom floor. They both have the stomach bug, and Margo, this is brutal. Margo spends the whole day trying to care for Bodhi while she's hardly surviving herself. And her dad, Jinx, shows up and saves the day. He had gone to the store and got all the essentials and took Bodhi so Margo could finally get some sleep, which is so kind of him. The reoccurring theme in this book is that Margo is not loved the way she needs to be. So this was really great to see. Before Jinx took the baby, Margo had called Bodhi's emergency doctor to try to get him some help, and the doctor immediately yells at her for calling because apparently the stomach bug is not an emergency, and Margo says he's just been puking for hours. And the doctor asks why he still has food in his stomach, and Margo's like, well, I'm still nursing him. The doctor yells at her for that, and she was just worried about him not being dehydrated, which is completely reasonable.
I heard that and I was like, wait, you're not supposed to do that? Like, things, again,
I would have done
Margo
the same thing.
Same. I mean, if I knew better, but like I wouldn't know what to do. And for her worry to be like so deduced to being like, this is an emergency. You should just know that this is what you do when a baby has a stomach bug is insane to me. And I hate that pediatrician. But like, it just feels like, again, she's not equipped. And it's not not for her lack of understanding, because she is trying to do something right. She's just not equipped with the knowledge.
Right. 100%, which is so terrible because I would feel terrible not feeding my newborn.
Right.
And I think she says that on the phone, like, newborns are supposed to eat every 3 hours. And he's like, well, not if they're puking. And she's like, how the fuck was I supposed to know?
Right. Ugh, poor Margo. And she's also puking herself.
Sucks. Right.
She's also suffering. Ugh.
Real. The next morning, everyone's kind of over the stomach bug, and Margo had completely forgotten about the promotion that Wang Mangler ran for her. So when she opens up OnlyFans, she is absolutely floored to see that she has 931 new fans. So she made like $4,600 overnight. And she was just so happy. She's finally feeling better. She sees the money coming in from this thing that she was kind of on the fence about doing in the first place. And she starts dancing around, and Jinx sees it, and Margo kind of has to tell him what's going on because she wants to tell him the truth here. And I don't quite know how you tell your dad that you're on OnlyFans, but Margo takes a stab at it. At first, when she tells him, he just straight up walks out of the room. And she kind of calms him down and convinces Jinx to have some tea with her so they can have like a seated, kind of relaxed conversation about it. And Jinx was absolutely pissed. And he was really worried about how Margo would be seen in the world, which really made Margo angry.
Yeah.
And Jinx says, girls who use sex to get what they want, you know. And he was trying to describe the word slut without saying slut. And Margo takes this opportunity to remind him that he did meet Margo's mom while she was working in a Hooters. And I think that that's kind of a theme that we keep rolling back to is Cheyenne was doing something very cusp to what Margo is doing.
Right. And we'll get to see her reaction in a little bit. And it's just interesting with Jinx because he is so self-aware and so open-minded about like the Bodhi thing. Like she has been, you know, he has been like so open-minded, and I think that's really healed parts of, you know, their relationship for Margo specifically. But like this is just like this is again a bigger theme within this book, but like his knee-jerk reaction to her doing sex work is just again reinforcing that like patriarchal conditioning that people have about women and their sexuality and how they you know use that. And it's with Jinx, it's like you can tell that he is trying to be a supportive father and also like having to like deconstruct some stuff. Like even though they're not like saying this in this big huge way, this is like actually Jinx doing that in practice. And I'm really happy it was like immediate and it wasn't like he had to go through and like be like super angry and whatnot. Like he could sit there with her after like right after and talk about it with her.
When Margo reminds him of the Hooters thing, Jinx doesn't really say anything, but Margo in her head thinks about how hypocritical the whole bit is because the tag team that Jinx managed, Murder and Mayhem, Murder got his name because he was an actual killer. He killed people for money. And Jinx seemed to have no objection to him doing this. All of a sudden, he's mad that she wants to post pictures of her boobs on the internet. That seems, in the grand scheme of things, significantly less harmful to the whole world. And
well, that's
Margo says that is because that's what he's concerned about. He is worried about how men are going to perceive Margo, and that's Cheyenne's concern once we get to it too. There's never a woman's care in their mind. It's like, how are you going to get a husband? How are you going to
right?
Yeah. Yes, the oppression. So Margo says, this is what I have. This is how I can do it. And if it keeps us safe with a place to live and diapers and clothes for Bodhi, then I don't care. So she is doing what she needs to do in this moment. Speaking of the patriarchy, Jinx takes this opportunity to ask what Bodhi's father would think of Margo doing this, which is really just such a low blow. I don't even want to touch that.
I agree. And like in this conversation, like he's like unraveling all of this. This is such a great foreshadowing moment. And it's it calls to Rufi's writing in this and how intertwined and maybe a little bit confusing it can get sometimes but the thing is, I sit here and I'm not confused by this, and I don't think I was when I first read it, but you have to remember this is third person. So it's very dynamic, and I think, you know, she's using a ton of literary tools here, and I think this is one of those. It might be, but it does feel shitty because like you
Yes.
got there, but you just took like 5 steps back.
Yeah. He gets there again though. But
Yes.
Margo realizes that her and Jinx never had a discussion about who Bodhi's father was. And when Margo lets him know that it was her professor, Jinx looks, quote, so livid he looked like he was about to cut a promo. Which him getting wrestling angry is so funny. But finally his anger's being channeled to the right place, right? He's finally mad at someone that's not Margo, who I truly believe Margo's just trying to do her best.
Yeah, I truly. I mean, from the beginning of this book, her whole dynamic with Mark, he's so complex. I really like Jinx and I like who he is to
Same.
Margo. Unlearning and relearning your child usually comes from, especially with women, the mother's standpoint. And like Cheyenne's part in this book is completely different and a completely different plot driver. So it's interesting that this is like a father-daughter dynamic. And I really do. I love Jinx as a character. He stays in our good graces.
He does. And he stumbles, but he picks it back up. Jinx, after learning this, really admits that Mark doesn't have a say, but he really tries to put the foot down and tell Margo no. And when she gives him pushback, he sits in his room all day, which go pout. However she's going to pay the bills, this is how she can pay the bills. Without Jinx's help, Margo logs into OnlyFans and she sees all her new followers all day. Dick ratings are coming in, tips are rolling in, and she decides that tomorrow, fully free of the stomach bug after she showers, she will start making more content. And she kind of talks to Susie about it because she's feeling very stagnant with the content she's making. I think she said in that first half, like, how many pictures of my boobs can I take? The answer is a lot, but
Yeah.
Margo is a creative and we really learn that she's such a creative. So she makes a deal with Susie that she's going to borrow her cosplay costumes to get out of this rut she feels like she's in. And she admits to Susie that she's on OnlyFans and Susie's into it. I feel like these fantasy girls, these like cosplayers are freaks. And I say that in the most loving way.
Yes, because like close to my home. Close to my home.
Yes.
This is a sisterhood.
Yes. This is
Amigas
not
cheetahs.
Yeah. Like I see you, real recognizes real. Like, yes, Susie was down and Margo finally gets that little affirmation because Susie says, I can't believe you're a porn star. It's kind of glamorous. And this kind of opens up the whole thing in a new lens to Margo.
Right. Now think about that conversation with Jinx and then having that right after with Susie. Like how affirming. Glamour, but like how affirming to hear, like, I think they have like a back and forth and like, do you think this is like weird and wrong? And she's like, it's like cosplaying or something. Like,
right. So
and like, what a great way to see it, because this is again like a vehicle for her. This is a job, and anyone that's in sex work will tell you it's a job, and there is, you know, she has to distance herself from that. But she, again, she has no tools. She's using her own research and her own thoughts and feelings about this to drive her choices, which is really interesting with a character because there's so many influences. You know, she's got crazy influences which work positively for her in this book, but usually it's not the case.
Right.
I would
And
say.
Susie tells Margo that she's not a slut because she's not sleeping with anyone. And she reminds Margo that she retained all the power in the situation, which, when we circle back to Margo felt absolutely powerless. She just thought that she existed in that dynamic. So she's now in a situation, and power is a big theme here. She has the power in the situation. After Margo finally showers, that post-sickness shower.
Oh, yeah.
I like felt the shower through this book. Margo finally showers, and Jinx sits down and talks to her and tells her a story about going to a sex club in Japan. And while he was there, he thought to himself, who am I to judge? So he kind of thought about that moment and changed his mind about OnlyFans. And he says, I told you he would get a redemption. It happens really quick. Quote, I just really was feeling protective of you. People treat sex workers so badly and with such disdain, and I didn't want that for you. But somehow that just resulted in me treating you with disdain for being a sex worker, and that's not what I want to do or who I want to be. You're my daughter. I will love you forever, no matter what.
A father looking inwards, doing some inward reflection hurts a little too much over
Reading that
here.
aloud made tears well in my eyes that I didn't expect.
Accountability from a father figure, girl, crazy.
Crazy.
Anyways,
Whew.
moving on.
I have the vapors.
Not us having a trauma response.
Oh. So as we get into chapter 9, Margo brushes the whole Jinx interaction to the side, and she still feels like it's a little fragile. So she starts pumping out content. She has access to the cosplay closet, which is helpful, but fans started to complain because her phone quality is so bad. And her having a really old cell phone really checks out because she doesn't know what TikTok is. She doesn't know what OnlyFans is. She doesn't know what Fortnite is. Of course, this is the bitch with that old beat up cell phone.
Yeah.
Like the math.
I can't imagine a time with like not like screened phones not being a thing. Like, I don't even know a flip phone.
The dick ratings keep rolling in. She's struggling to keep up with them. So many of them are coming in. And she instantly finds this attention intoxicating. The comments, the tips, the money, all of it. And she really knows that this is such a superficial feeling, but she's all in. She loves it. I feel like anyone who exists on social media knows how these feelings work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, seeing a post get 100 likes, you're like, even when we post content for the podcast, I'm like, ooh, that reel did well. That got 7,000 views, like something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Always excited. Jinx wakes up one morning and decides that he is going to start doing what he does best, which is kind of becoming Margo's manager. And he wants her to be doing everything right if she's going to have all this income coming in, which is really smart. Because there's nothing like getting a tax bill one shot when you have not paid in at all. He has spoken like a true 1099er, for sure.
Yeah.
He asks her if she's paying quarterly taxes, and Margo just has no idea what this even means. And he offers to watch the baby while she goes to wait tables, which feels a little passive aggressive because he's trying to get her off the porn site. But that's fine. He's well intended. Yeah. And she immediately feels sick thinking about going back to work and waiting tables, which
same girl.
Same. Yeah, she'd rather be naked on the internet than going back to it.
Here's the thing. Service industry, you don't have to tell me anything. We would literally conspire behind the bar on how to sell parts of our body on the internet to get out of working at that job.
Like, literally.
Resonate.
Feet, dirty underwear, you let me know.
Dirty undies.
Socks, do not care.
Whatever. Old Crocs, anything. I got it.
After hearing this, Jinx is like, okay, so if you're going to do this, we're doing it right. And he helps Margo register as a corporation, which helps with tax cuts. And he has her put the rest of the money that Mark gave her in a high yield savings account. I need Jinx in my life.
Yeah, please.
And then he helps Margo get health insurance for Bodhi because he no longer qualifies with her income. Jinx, I need you.
But he's been doing this for so long. Like, he knows all of those details, especially like when you're a self-run or you have your own business. Like, it gets really confusing really quickly and you don't know what you need. So I'm so happy. Yeah. Like, this was like her entrance into this type of work. She actually had all of that aligned.
Jinx also dives into OnlyFans. The thought of knowing your dad's looking on OnlyFans feels really crazy to me, but they have a very unique dynamic. And Jinx helps her, once learning more about the site, come up with a plan. And they decide they're going to do a cross promotion every 2 weeks and keep building up a fan base. And then they are trying to figure out how they're going to retain the fans.
Yes.
And Jinx says that men like variety. So the trick is to hook them and then keep them subscribed. And he says you have to make them fall in love with you. Which ain't that the truth. Margo says they will never love me because they spend most of their time rage baiting me, which I could not imagine having an all-male audience on a platform.
She was like casually talking about the messages she gets. Like, that is not for me. That is not for me.
No. And to the
And men are
rage baiting
vile.
comment, Jinx says, that's just the internet. A disgusting place, really. It's kind of like trying to have a nice dinner party in hell. And if that ain't it, I don't know what is.
Real.
That really popped me. Jinx tells her that she needs to build a persona that's worth falling in love with. And he's really going over Wrestling 101 with her, which I really love to hear. He asks her if she's a heel or a face, a good guy or a bad guy, and Margo cannot imagine being bold enough to be a heel, and she's like, I'm a baby face through and through. Margo keeps wondering why this would apply to her, because it's like light and dark. You have to have one playing off the other, so she doesn't understand how she can be a baby face if there's no heel to her content. Which I think is fair. That circles back to all the comments previously of her thinking, I need buddies. It's so fun to read this book like this, to like think like, oh, this here and this here, because you really are so deep in to Margo's brain. Now Bodhi is 3 months old, and Margo is continuously wondering what the apex of his cuteness would be, because he just gets cuter every day. And the dichotomy of her trying to figure out how to be a sex worker and just being so in love with this child everyone told her not to have is not lost. It is
amazing.
So sweet. And we get this scene here where she mimes smelling flowers to him, and then he literally smells roses for the first time in front of her.
Cute.
So sweet. And she's just amazed that she created this human that she can now communicate with now that he's 3 months old. And then Jinx orders a What to Expect in the First Year book. And this doesn't really help her. It just makes her feel anxious. She gets the book, and Margo had never even worried that pacifiers were bad. She's reading through all this and like doomsdaying, which sometimes more information is not better. She hadn't thought about if they were good or bad. She'd bought them in every color, even the girl ones. And Jinx saw Bodhi sucking on a hot pink one and said, oh, look, the newest member of the Heart Foundation. And this is a quote that got me the first time too, because this is like a wrestling faction, and just every bit I get from Jinx's brain that talks about wrestling just centers this book in such an incredible space for me.
Yeah.
As a wrestling person, it just feels like they're talking within like this, they're speaking a language only I speak to me, and it just feels so sweet. If you are not in the know to pro wrestling, every wrestler and every promotion and all these matches, all these pay-per-views that they talk about through this whole book are real, which I love so much. I can like picture these people as they talk about them, which just adds this other layer. And you want to talk about getting to know an author through their book, like Rufi has to be a wrestling fan
100%
to write this book. This is so niche. After Jinx says that he's going to be the newest member of the Heart Foundation, Margo tells Jinx that she'd never let him become a wrestler because they all seem to fall to tragedy. And he says he can't deny that. And Margo also realizes that she didn't have the best feelings around professional wrestling because that's what took her dad away from her.
Right.
Which is so sad.
Yep.
Not these two girls crying over a dad quote. Can't relate, Margo. I don't know. Even though Margo didn't like it, with Jinx in the house, they were watching more wrestling than they ever had. And Jinx knows the backstory about all of these wrestlers, which
of course,
to know them is to love them. Jinx asked Margo and Susie if she knew that the Hart Boys had a pet bear growing up, and they dripped fudgesicles on their toes in the summer and let a bear lick them clean. What? That is like, I sent Leah a post the other day of Kenny Omega, And it was like, I looked at his gear and I was like, oh, he has Dobby gear on because Dobby's his cat's name. And like, he did. And you just know these stupid things about these people you might never interact with. And that is like,
you might
to
on a
know and love
cruise.
wrestling. God knew I couldn't handle it. I had a chance run-in with this man in Mall of America once. We were in the Mall of America at the same time. And I looked at my friend that I was with and said, why didn't we run into them? And she looked back at me and said, God knew you couldn't handle it. And I don't typically believe in divine intervention, but in this case, yes.
Yeah. It would have been a mess in that mall.
I have a note in here to share the moment I fell in love with professional wrestling. And I was at a wrestling show with my beloved friend, John Healy. And there was a man dressed as a monkey. His whole gimmick was that he was a monkey from outer space. And I was like, can he hit people with his tail? And John looked at me, deadpan kayfabe, and said, he can do whatever he wants with his tail. It's part of his body.
Enough. Sold.
Done. If I can believe that man's a monkey, I can believe anything. We're in.
Ugh. I had such a good time at the wrestling match she brought me to.
Ugh.
Just yelling. Just hooting and hollering.
And hollering at the club wrestling event. As they watch wrestling, Margo really begins to feel like it's art. Everyone's so devoted, athletic, professional, and they've really given their life away to this. And Jinx always said that wrestling wasn't fake. It is predetermined, which reminds Margo of Mark telling her that free will isn't real. Our brains just invent explanations to what our body is already determined to do. Which I think is really interesting because it almost sounds like a cop-out for him for fucking a child, but at the same time, was she always predestined to do this?
Right. I think she struggles with her involvement in that whole tango a lot in this book, and like where she doesn't see herself as like an actual party, and how she just kind of existed in this space. And it's really interesting to see how she talks about herself then. If you really think about it, when we get to the end, like that's not the point of the book. Like Mark, her relationship, and Bodhi are like all drivers into the character development of Margo. And I think really that's the point of the book. Big statement.
Big words.
Big ones.
After Margo's Wang Mangler promotion, she finds herself losing about 50 followers a week. People are complaining her videos aren't long enough, that she's not showing vagina, and Margo really didn't want to do that. The next promo that they did, because they made the pact to do them every 2 weeks, she only got 50 new followers, which didn't even cover the cost of doing the promo. Into Margo's inbox rolls a message that says, I see you do written dick ratings. Would you be open for other written work? JB. Now remember that, because we don't get rid of JB. Our boy Jelly Bean. Out here.
Jelly Bean.
Margo realizes that no one had ever really called what she's doing work, but she did really like this. She clicks on his profile, sees his profile picture is of a dog, and replies and asks if the dog was his. It was. His name's Jelly Bean, and he offers her $100. Jelly Bean. He offers her $100 to write about her family's holiday traditions. Wild open.
Yeah.
But if no one was asking me for a photo of my literal vagina, I would get to typing. Gotta tell you.
Oh, yeah. For $100? Sure.
Margo went for it, but she lied about it. She told a story about how her family travels for Christmas, and she tells a story about going to Hawaii, and like weaves this fucked up dynamic. She says that she has a brother. She tells a story about finding out that Santa wasn't real. And by the end of it, she finds herself even a little choked up because she put her whole ass into this and just told a story, which again is something she loves doing that she doesn't really get to exercise. So she hits send, the money comes through, and he asks her for a written portrait of her mother next. And she goes all in on it and realizes that she is actually having fun doing this. Ooh, Margo.
Ooh.
I know that we've been in twice and we know where this goes, but like, how does this, like, what did you think JB's angle was here?
So I remember clearly the first time I read it, I thought, because I think this was a book club question. I thought that his deal was that he was pretending to be Mark, or Mark was pretending to be this person. But it quickly gets debunked. He sends a picture of him with his dog Jelly Bean, and she like has a come apart because he's hot. But I think his intentions were nefarious, or he was like used as a tool. Like I saw him as like a roadblock, because every turn and twist in this book is like a huge roadblock for Margo. He's important by the end, but like not the whole story, which makes sense. Like I just said, like this is about her character development and her life. Yeah. So what do you think?
Fair enough. I don't know. The question seems so weird, but again, men are into such weird shit. Like, does this guy just have mommy issues and wants to hear about someone else? Like,
probably.
I obviously think it's something nefarious, but also,
yeah.
I don't want to call myself naive because I don't think that's the word for it, but I am very trusting of people. I frequently in my life operate on a like, I fully trust you unless you give me a reason not to. So if I put myself in Margo's shoes, I would think it was not at all nefarious, and I'd be giving this person my home address on accident, being like, I grew up at 123 Main Street and blah 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 blah. But
yeah,
I looking through it through like this lens of sex work, I'm like, is he trying to like pinpoint her? Is he trying to find her? I don't know.
Is he does he have plans to dox her in a way? Like, yikes.
Chapter 10. It is now Thanksgiving time. Cheyenne is so busy doing wedding prep after being proposed to in an Applebee's that she forgets to tell Margo that she's not at all available on Thanksgiving because her and Kenny are going to be volunteering at the church, which is not a Cheyenne thing, but fine.
No.
So Jinx cooks an entire meal for Margo and Susie instead. By this point, Bodhi is starting to babble, and all he's saying is "Dada, Dada" to Jinx. That would piss me off so bad.
Oh, that would turn my ass. And like he was like, oh, like they always say Dada. They always say Dada first, so then they say Mama or Baba next, which is true. I did go to speech pathology school, and that is very true. It's easier to say Dad than it is to say Mama. Yeah, like fricatives are really hard for babies. So, but yeah, that would have turned my ass as a mother. And I'm sure it turns every mother's ass too, that it's a rarity to be second choice.
You're sucking the life out of my titties and you're going to say his name? Okay.
And look like him often? Fuck.
So Jinx tells Margo that she did the same thing, which I'm sure turned Cheyenne's ass too. Margo's phone buzzes and it is a message from JB. I said we're not getting rid of him. He says, "Dear Hungry Ghost, $100 per question, length is up to you, for answers to any of the following questions. 1. Who are some friends you remember from middle school? 2. What are your favorite foods and what do you irrationally dislike? 3. Do you know your grandparents at all? 4. What has become of your brother Timmy? Are you guys close? And then 5. Did you go to college? Are you thinking about going to college? It really seems like you should go to college. And you look so young. I guess I don't know how old you are, though. Maybe you have already graduated college and just have great skin." I don't know. I don't know what I'm even saying. But what are your goals for yourself? What do you want? JB. It just...
a little too much.
If anyone asked me those questions, I'd be off put.
I was gonna say, if you
$100.
$100. I just was about to give dirty Crocs to someone, so I'm not above it. But
you want my Apple Watch band?
Stinky. In the summer,
real,
a little wet. You know, this is like not something I guess though, here's the thing, because I was thinking about this. I'm like, I feel like we don't, as humans, like, don't like ask friends and acquaintances and like people we know enough questions in our day-to-day lives. Like there's so many things that like you'll tell me you drop crazy lore though. I feel like you are an exception in every way in my life.
I'm answering these questions without prompts.
Exactly. Like I know things that I just like have somehow kept in the back of my mind about you, but there are people that I'm like, I am still shocked by the things that I learn about you. Even my own husband, like I'm always like, you've lived a whole life before me, and I like get the details. And you're like, oh, I remember this time that we had a come apart about Maggie Moo's, the ice cream chain, because I guess it was a hot commodity, but I've never heard of fucking Maggie Moo's. Popped up on my screen. Drew went into this whole thing. Oh, Maggie Moo's. Like,
oh my God.
I was like, this is Maggie Moo's like you were talking about. And he was like, yeah.
Maggie herself.
But like, yeah, some like life goal questions.
Actually, our beloved friends Keith and Mitchell, they have this friend named Jeremiah that him and his husband share a flip phone. Their preferred, and it's for emergencies. Their preferred contact method is email. So I happened to run into this man. We were eating out on a patio and he walked by and they were like, it was like they saw a fucking unicorn because this person is just about impossible to nail down. And he was just walking by. So I got to meet him. And after he walks away, Keith is like, this is the nicest man I know. Because he has no access to the internet, his brain's still really pure. Like, think about if you didn't have the internet to access all these information, what would we be talking about? We wouldn't be doing this. Everything's the internet, right?
Right.
So Keith goes, I was at a party with him and he looked at me and said, Keith, when was the last time you felt humbled?
Every day of my life. But like
every day of my fucking life.
But like that, think about the brain space that person has for like just incredible things because it's not full of bullshit.
He got his like master's degree in like playing concert piano or something, and he's super smart and all this stuff. But like, of course, if I didn't spend 6 hours a day rotting my brain on my phone, I would be so much smarter. I would have so much more time and energy.
Probably less mentally ill, hotter. Damn. Maybe we do need to get flip phones. This is
the old flip phone propaganda. Shell. After she reads through all these prompts, she really hasn't told anyone that he's sending these, but she dives in and replies and says that she wants a selfie of him and JB. He sends it and he is smoking hot.
Hot
for her.
But she describes
never expect a hot man to be on the other side of OnlyFans.
She described very Shane Hollander and Long Game, and just saying
that's actually really
I have
true.
a type.
After receiving this photo, Margo looks up from her phone and realizes that Jinx is in extreme pain. This is like so abrupt.
I'm Jinx.
But we've all thrown out our back. We know. He could no longer stand. He was sweating profusely. He could not move. And Jinx was refusing to let Margo call an ambulance. And she calls one anyway because she has no idea what to do. Susie offers to watch Bodhi while they go to the ER. And the only thing Jinx is really worried about is Margo grabbing enough books for him to read in the hospital. And that is spoken like a man who's waited a really long time in the hospital before.
Real.
Bring me my activities. Yeah. So they get to the ER and Jinx tells Margo that he isn't going to mention the substance abuse issues of the past. And Margo seems to go along with it, but she is in the back of her head worried that he will relapse, which I think is valid. And they kind of share stories about being treated poorly by the hospital staff. Jinx is frequently treated like a criminal because of his past with substance abuse. He's just kind of seen as a pill seeker. And Margo tells him about the nurse that judged her for being unmarried when she gave birth to Bodhi and made fun of his name. That is the nurse that Cheyenne slapped. And Jinx says that he would have burned the hospital to the ground if he witnessed that.
The delivery on that was so good. It was like he heard that and was like, well, I would have burned the hospital to the ground. Like, I
But
loved
this is
it.
also Jinx who says that he has a terrible time connecting with people and feeling love. And he just feels such love for Margo, and it shows.
Yeah, it's very like seeing your deeply traumatized parents be deeply traumatized, and like we get it with Cheyenne and we get it with Jinx in two different ways, and having their own issues and seeing that they're human, and like, and I think a lot of their experience with Margo informs, like, gives her more information on, okay, this isn't my only my perception now, and also I am raising a child on my own. And I think that's, again, so good for Margo's growth as a character.
Margo, we're rooting for you.
Yeah.
Second book in a row, honestly. Sorry.
I said what said.
They're in the hospital, and Margo notices that Jinx is reading a book on the Roman Empire. And she knows that half the books in his room are related to the Roman Empire, which is very man of him. I have written here, men only want one thing, and it's sick.
Ridiculous.
It's the Roman Empire.
It is. Every time.
Margo and Jinx kind of get into a discussion about why he likes the Roman Empire so much, and she asks if it's because of the wrestling. Does he like the violence of Rome? And during this conversation, she asks him, "Do you feel conflicted about the violence?" Jinx replies, "I've spent so many years being defensive that it's hard to tell. You know, recounting to myself how violent football is, or hockey, or don't even get me started on MMA. I always wanted to defend wrestling. In a way, it is the most ethical one because we're trying to put on a show, not truly harm each other," which that's fair.
Yeah.
You're seeing a means to an end in wrestling versus in football, in MMA, you're actually trying to beat the shit out of someone. Which makes sense. He continues on. It's a bunch of boys from the middle of nowhere kind of screaming, "Look at me, love me. Look at the insane and beautiful things I can do with my body. I can make you gasp. I can make you scream. I can make you cry." And Margo says, "It's beautiful to think about it like that." This is
a good Jinx moment.
This is such a good Jinx moment. And I think that this is very true about professional wrestling because it is soap opera. It is drama. It is storytelling at its finest. I have experienced the highest highs and the lowest lows following wrestling sagas. I flew from New York to Minnesota to watch my favorite wrestler finally lose the title to my second favorite wrestler. It is storytelling, and I think that it's so fun that it's such a hard part in this book that it's all hinged around wrestling because this book is such a great example in storytelling.
Absolutely. Well said.
Rufi, we love you. And we love wrestling. And we love Margo. The doctor arrives finally mid-conversation to ask Jinx questions about his surgeries and past injuries. And the doctor didn't seem to believe that Jinx, with all this past, wasn't on pain medication. They said that they're going to do an MRI and make sure that his spinal fusion isn't compromised. And at this point, Jinx sends Margo home, insisting he'll be fine. And when Margo gets home, Susie and Bodhi are asleep on the couch. When Margo laid down in bed that night, she couldn't fall asleep because she could not stop hearing Jinx say, "I would have burned that hospital to the ground." And Margo says, "I pictured the burned out frame of the building, the clouds of ash, my father standing in his black pants and black shirt and black jacket, standing there, looking at me, loving me." Jinx? I swear to God. Margo finally feeling this love is
I know.
everything because she has never been loved in this way. She has never been loved in a way. Her mom made her minimize herself or play up that she's a woman and do all these things. And Jinx is like, "As you are, I will love you. I will defend you." As we roll into chapter 11, Margo wakes up and sees that Jinx is already back home. And she kind of finds herself in this weird situation where she doesn't know if she should ask him if they prescribe painkillers. So she kind of dances around it. And she's kind of marveling in the fact that last night while they were having that conversation, they felt so close, and now he almost seems back to being a stranger. Which I'm sure is a really hard feeling, but I've definitely been in a situation where I've had really open conversations with people, and then like seeing them again, you're like, are we here or are we here?
Right. Because like you, I am again like a trusting person, and like if we get deep in a level, now you are on the next tier of friendship in my mind. And like some people think like the dude with the flip phone asking questions on the last time you were humbled. Some people exist on a different wavelength. So,
Right.
and this is like
Yeah.
this is a family dynamic too. So even more
Never had
multi-layered.
access to Jinx like this.
Exactly. So
Definitely
her
multi-layered.
perception of him is so complex at this point. And like, yeah, their whole dynamic is so interesting still.
People continued to unsubscribe from Margo's OnlyFans page, and she knew it was because she was not showing the full vagine. The word vagine is said so many times in this book. It is hilarious. It's funny
It
every
is so
time.
funny. It is.
But she just could not bring herself to do it. Not only could Margo not convince herself to go full vagine, she also couldn't bring herself to write JB back because she knew what her goals were, but she really didn't want to say them out loud. So we get this great quote. I wanted to be famous. I wanted to make a lot of money, absurd amounts of money, and I wanted power, raw, cold, and green. But every single time I thought about hitting the kitten on camera, I felt like I was going to puke. The dream of being famous was silent, urgent, and embarrassing, kept as closely as a birthday candle wish. The layers, like the bananas, but the realness, like.
But that's us
Yes,
being like
Margo.
doing our like podcast and like our podcast dream up that we did where we talked for a couple hours about like what this could be for us. And like
Yes.
people, it is hard to say you want success in that way, especially like something over the internet again, because it feels so stigmatized in a way. Like influencing
Yeah.
and being an influencer is like stigmatized to the nines. People get pissed when influencers are in any structure whatsoever. If they're interviewing people on a red carpet, if they're in an infomercial, like it doesn't matter. I feel like that also that stigma plays into it. And then the layer of sex work on top of it is complicated.
Deciding she can't really articulate that, she writes him back about question 2 instead. What are your favorite foods and what foods do you irrationally dislike? And she gives him a rundown of everything that she loves. She loves banana flavored candy, any creamy pasta dish, which she refers to as adult mac and cheese. That's not a lie. And then she
Real.
gushes about her North Star Arby's. Which is so fun.
I would say I hope this is Rufi's like input in this. Like, do you think Rufi Thorpe's just super obsessed with Arby's? Or
I hope. But now I want a
just
curly
like
fry.
now I want a ham and cheddar. Like
Ugh.
nasty. With that onion bun. I love an onion bun.
Justana, me, John Healy, shit faced. And we decide to go to an Arby's, but we're on foot. And the lobby is not open, so we walk through the drive thru. A man comes out of the back while we're standing there because no one's answering the thing. And he goes, "Have you ordered yet?" And we're like, "No." And he goes, "Okay, just go up to the window and order." So we go up to the window to order. The same guy comes to the window and he goes, "Have you ordered yet?" Which, first of all,
He's
now you're
also
fucking
shit faced. He's
oh my
also
God,
shit
there were
faced.
1,000 high noons in me. I was just to the moon. We're like, no. And I think John orders 5 beef, no cheddar, which is just so hilarious. 5 dry beef, done. So I order a beef and cheddar for me and my sister turns to me and goes, "Ask if they have jalapeno poppers." We are standing at the drive-thru window in front of a man. He
like she's in the back seat of a car.
He hears her and he goes, "We do." After talking about her North Star, she confirms that she does not like seafood, a very shrimp is bugs approach to this. She does not think that seafood is worth the fight. As she rereads this message, she realizes that she's telling the truth, but it's just about food, so that can't really matter. And she signs it off with, "What about you?" Now we're in a conversation. It's gone from like a transaction to a conversation.
100%.
Jinx sees her typing away and asks her what she's writing, and she slams her laptop shut like she's doing something
Classic.
wrong. Classic. Like, of course.
Nothing.
In my head, I probably would have done. Jinx asks who he does catch a glimpse at her screen, and Jinx asks who JB is and why the message was so long. And she explains that he pays her to write, and he's honestly impressed with the arrangement. I mean, $100 for a few paragraphs. Again,
I'd do it.
Way better than taking pictures of my tits. If anyone listening right now wants me to write them up an answer on a prompt for $100, please email me.
Make a OnlyFans about it.
We'll talk. Margo asked Jinx if he could walk to the park, and he says he's really worried about being out of the house if something happens to his back again. And in this moment, he also says that he did not fill any of the prescriptions that he was given by the doctor. And Margo's really kind of worried that he won't be able to function at all because he's in so much pain, but he knows that he simply can't be trusted with them. Mm-hmm. So Margo offers to keep the pills, hide them from Jinx, and just give him his doses when he needs them.
This
Jinx does agree to.
Immediately. So you have Jinx being like, this is not a good idea. I think he's like trying to follow, his sobriety and like really, do the hard thing here. Extremely hard thing. But he kind of has already let down the guys a little bit with these like, I'm not going to tell the people at the hospital. And she can resonate with it. She had her own poor experience with the hospital.
Right.
And drug seeking is like this whole complex thing. And everyone knows this. Not Margo. Mm-hmm. But, that's a nugget. And
Margo
so that was the first ding, ding, ding in my head, which is like not a negative thing, but I was like, that's, something I'm paying attention to. And then when he immediately was like, oh, that's a great idea. You just keep the pills and you hide them in the place that you told me you're going to hide them. She's like, I'm going to hide them in my room. Like, right. Margo. So
go put them in your car.
Yeah. Like it is a little difficult to watch this knowing what comes. No spoilers.
JB replies with a list of his favorite foods, and Margo is so taken by this answer that she tells him that she's raising her rates, and now when she answers a question, he also has to answer a question that she has. So she asks JB if his real name... Yes. She asked JB if JB is his real name or if it just stands for Jelly Bean. Later that night, the whole team's watching wrestling, and Susie asked Jinx if wrestling is real or not, which is a crazy question to ask a professional wrestler. Margo has some commentary here where she's like, no one can ask that question, but you asked the right guy.
Yeah.
Jinx is real as
I got scared because I'm the bitch that's saying something like that. Like, just trying to be engaged in the content or like just trying to be engaged in people that are like that.
You're in line at Disney is talking about the person in the costume of the character.
That like
literally
just not too much, but also it's the same thing. Yeah. And I was like, I got that feeling. I was like, my belly dropped. I was like, oh,
I know. Yeah. It's such a faux pas question. And to this, Jinx replies, it's all fake. It's all real. The lines are blurry. Where does the character end and the self begin? It doesn't help that a lot of the angles are taking on real life dynamics and making them larger than life. And he goes on to talk about the Jeff Hardy CM Punk feud. And CM Punk is a straight edge guy, and Jeff Hardy has struggled with substance abuse issues his whole life. And this was a really crazy angle that actually happened where... Max on the pod.
I was trying to do that really smoothly, but he is being
show the boy. Everyone look at Max.
What do you have to say to people?
Bobby.
He's usually across the room, but he's having a hard night. My dog has dementia of the brain. Of where else?
Guest pod star tonight. So yes, you see all these things in real life get dragged into professional wrestling. And also, just to speak to Jinx, where does character end and self begin? He doesn't even know what he wears anymore because he just dresses like his character.
And like you said, the lines are so blurry. Like it's so steeped in real life for these
Yeah.
people.
So then Jinx says it has to be authentic to work, but by definition is fake. And we get Margo's brain kicking in once again, thinking to herself that she can't be someone else. So she has to become more of herself.
What a huge,
Which
like,
immediately
duh.
in my head, I picture a caricature. You know?
Yeah.
Like one of those really mean people that draws you all crazy too.
Like that guy in TikTok was just like really, really mean. Like it makes me
Yes.
cry about myself.
Oh yeah. I couldn't take being humbled like that.
No.
So she says, I thought you were saying make up a character and then be that, but you're saying turn myself into a character, almost like turning yourself into a cartoon. And like this is the light bulb moment of what Margo can do and how she should do it. And Margo, once again, just like with the Kermit the Frog tattoo, bills herself as cheesy. And Jinx disagrees with it, just like Mark did. He says, I do think you're a natural heel. I know you wanted to be a face. Don't think about it as being mean. Think about it as being disruptive. I had to include that quote because everything Margo does on OnlyFans, she is pioneering something. Everything she does is very disruptive to a culture that's very well established. And I think that's part of what makes her as a person so impressive. And Jinx again says that she needs buddies, other characters to play off. She needs hype and she needs to be cutting promos. And promos are the reason people care enough to watch the match, is said in here. Genius. It's absolutely genius. It makes so much sense. Like this whole event gets hyped up and then people tune in, of course. And Margo decides that she can best do this via TikTok. So she gets to work. She goes to Wang Mangler's page and sees that she's interacting with another OnlyFans creator called Succulent Rose. And Margo asks if she can go on their podcast, seeing that they're all in Southern California. And they said that their guest for tomorrow canceled. And they say, get here tomorrow. Let's record. We're in the fast lane, baby.
It's happening.
Around midnight, JB replies and he says, my name is actually JB, but it stands for J Bum. He offers name for name, and Margo tells him that he won't even believe this, but her name is Jellybean.
I love Margo's humor because it's just rooted in like stupid. You know, she doesn't
brain
have like
rot.
internet humor.
She's not chronically online, but it's brain rot.
Right. It's brain rot, but it's not.
Margo then asks if he's doing the question thing with other girls on OnlyFans, and he says no. As we enter chapter 12, Margo enters Succulent Rose in Wang Mangler's apartment. Now, Rose opens the door in a Snuggie, which is serving the pink-haired Instagram stripper the shit she wears when she is not working. This is to a T. I'm like, she was in a Snuggie too.
Yes, this is who I imagine as well. Just like very Instagram girls. Love her.
They discuss what Margo should call them. Rose tells them that she'll go by Rose and Wang Mangler goes by Casey. Margo opts to go by Ghost in this format. Rose tells Margo that she is so hot, and Margo compliments her massive breasts. Real recognizes real. And Margo then finds out that Rose majored in physics but didn't finish her degree.
Yeah, she was pushed out of her program because someone doxed her for doing OnlyFans. And that is just so upsetting.
Crazy. How is a girl supposed to put herself through school?
Right. But like also this gives like Margo a little, I feel like she feels a little less alone here because, you know, she's had such a experience in college at this point as well.
Right. And I think it kind of reframes what these creators could be or are to Margo, which is helpful. So they sit down in the podcast studio. Margo starts sipping on some tea that they left out for her. They do tell her that it's mushroom tea. And I guess that's their thing that they do on their podcast.
Could you
They make
imagine?
everyone take shrooms and record.
Could you imagine?
Crazy. I could not be any more intoxicated than I have ever been on here, which is a half a beer.
I don't know how that, like, we would get off this episode and not know what the fuck. I mean, book recap episodes are very structured. I could not even imagine our wraps, a silly little mini-sode. Like, I can't even. I'll have
No.
to get really good at this first.
Margo's never done shrooms. She texts Jinx that this is happening because she's not going to chicken out from the podcast. And they record, this is so us, they record for well over 2 hours. And Margo's like thinking to herself, how are they going to edit this down? And that's us every time, which is hilarious. And
Every time.
Margo tells Rose and Casey that she hasn't posted Vagine yet. And they are shook. And they tell her that when she finally does, she really needs to charge for it and charge big. And Rose makes a joke about doing an advent calendar type countdown for the big reveal, which is hilarious. They talk about how they got into OnlyFans, how most of the men they interact with want to kill them. They discuss all the hate comments they get, which are deranged. And then they all puke. And Margo asks them why time only moves forward. They're completely going off the rails here. Watching this podcast like trickle down into what it is. They all collapse on the floor in the living room. And Margo tells the other girls that she has a plan. And if everyone follows her, they can all be very famous.
Love.
She says, quote, I have an idea, and I know from the bottom of my soul that if you guys trust me, I can make us extremely famous and rich, filthy rich, but also famous. I'm saying we should use TikTok to build our personas, and for that, we need to work together. If you only have one character, you're naturally limited to what you can do. We could play off each other and make subplots and prank each other, and it would give us something to do that was PG enough for other social media. Her brain's braining.
Yep, she had the aha.
And I love it. And Margo cites the balance between Rose's sweetness and Casey's intensity is proof that it could work. Rose tells Margo that she loves her and says that they're in. And Casey says absolutely not. TikTok is super strict with content and nudity, and how could it work? And Margo says, we don't need nudity. So you pick the hottest sound on TikTok, something dancey, and you see Rose doing a little dance, wearing clothes, but hot. And you're thinking, okay, hot girl dancing. But then you notice the couch behind her, like moving. And Casey is inside the couch, slowly climbing out. The video ends when she jump scares you.
Yes.
Or when you jump scare her. Or whatever. It ends on the scream. This is met by absolute silence by Casey and Rose.
I love it.
And Margo plows on because she has the vision and says, instead of turning you into a body for someone to fuck, working together will turn us into people. We will humanize each other. If they see us doing normal things, it will make it feel more real when we do sexy things. We will become more than dolls. Back to that disruptor.
Yeah.
Rose is still all in, and Casey still thinks it wasn't worth it. She had an account before with 500,000 followers and got booted from Instagram because she posted her OnlyFans link in the bio. They then ask Margo what she wants for their cut for being the mastermind of this, because Margo says she'll write it all and they can film it, and she hasn't really thought through that she's bringing this much value to this event, which... yes, you are.
Yes.
And with them on board, Margo then admits that she has a baby. So when they film, her dad will have to come with her to watch him. And the only thing anyone is mad about when the baby gets brought into the scene is that that's what Margo's waistline looks like 4 months after giving birth.
Honestly, same.
Get it, girl.
Get it.
Casey seems really off-put by Margo's dad's involvement, but that changes when Margo explains to her that her dad is Dr. Jinx, the professional wrestler. I love that she held this card and went, well, hold on. I think you might know him. Jinx comes to pick up Margo, and Casey is just geeked out to meet him. Rose is looking in the backseat of the car, gushing over Bodhi. And narrator Margo says that image of them bullshitting in a parking lot would remain one of Margo's most precious memories.
Got me. Got me.
Got me. Because, I mean, how great to look back at life and to see, like, that you were on the precipice of something incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And she got to do that. The next morning, Margo's creative juices were flowing, so she decided to change her OnlyFans bio. Now buckle up. It now reads, quote, I am from another planet and I do not understand your world, though I like it here very much. Feed me memes and tinfoil and cute cat videos. Give me your boredom and your sadness and your anxiety. I will eat it all. I will eat the buttons off your shirt, your darkest secrets, your keys, locks of your hair, your memories. Come play with me in a world we make up together. I will only kill you a little bit and you will like it.
Freak. I love her freak ass.
Freak.
This is a girl I would be friends with. And baby and all.
I will eat your keys, locks of your hair, your memories.
Your buttons, girl.
Okay. And this my buttons. And fresh off that sick account bio, she starts script writing, tweets, Instagram posts, TikToks, enough for a full week. And this is so fucking impressive.
As someone who does the social media coordination.
Yeah. As someone who watches Aaliyah do the social media and someone who has disdain for posting on social media, her sitting down and locking in, I'm like,
I dream of having a content calendar more than a week out is something I dream about, but maybe when this is my full-time job and you make us all very famous.
Do tomorrow. After all this, Jinx reads through her scripts and likes them and tells her they're good, but that she really needs to tell Cheyenne.
I don't care about Cheyenne.
No. Chapter 13 starts and Margo is at the mall with Cheyenne to look for a wedding dress. Not to sound like a beehole here, but getting your wedding dress from the mall is very interesting to me.
Yeah.
I've never heard of anyone doing that.
But like they are, as Margo self-describes, as white trash. The mall is a nice place to get the dress. Macy's is the option.
Baby. The Neiman Marcus.
Yeah.
The Neiman Marcus. So Cheyenne has a plan. They're going to go to the most expensive store first. She's looking for something off-white, modest, which she describes as lots of leg, but a high neckline. They're getting married in Las Vegas.
Like, girl.
Cheyenne is Cheyenne.
I know.
Through and through. Cheyenne's looking through one section and Margo pushes the stroller off and instantly falls into becoming a personal shopper for her mom. And you can just see that this has played out so many times. Cheyenne's like about to go on a date and you can see 11-year-old Margo at the Macy's picking stuff out for her mom, knowing exactly what she wants. And Margo says she didn't need the glitter. She needed a dress that said, I'm getting married on purpose and it's not a mistake. But like Margo knowing this right there, their dynamic is painful at best.
It is. It really is. And she knows her so deeply, but also understands that like their relationship isn't healthy. Like she knows, and it's just hard. It's hard to watch.
So Cheyenne, while she's trying on dresses, asks Margo if she's gotten a job yet, and Margo says no, and then alludes that she's working on a site that's like porn and social media, and Cheyenne is immediately horrified. She says, quote, I didn't raise you to be a whore. No man will marry you now. Future employers, forget about it. Once it's on the internet, Margo, it's forever. You thought he ruined your life? And she pointed at Bodhi. Not even close. You ruined it. If you had told me you were thinking of doing this, I could have stopped you. I'm so sad, Margo, and so disappointed. I don't even know what to say. I thought I raised you better than this.
Yeah. This is one of those moments where it's really hard to watch a character having Jinx do a lot of like inward reflection and vocalize it so well to Margo is wonderful to see. But then you have this dichotomy of Cheyenne being the worst fucking mother ever. Like she does not do any, like throughout this whole book, just zero inward reflection. she's playing a character for Kenny here, and she's in this space that completely clouds her love for her daughter and their actual bond that you get to see in these small glimpses where they know each other deeply. And like she loves her. You just get this like really shitty Cheyenne all the time, and she gets worse.
Right. And you can't expect everyone to fall into your lie and cover up for you so you can be great for this one idiot.
Exactly.
This is who we knew Cheyenne was the whole time.
Yeah.
Margo says, I didn't know how to argue, even as I knew that if anything, she'd raised me for this. Beauty is like free money. I thought about all the things Cheyenne said all the time when I was doing my OnlyFans. Never smile too big at a man too quickly. A shy, small smile will make him think that he earned it. Never sit with your purse in your lap. It's blocking your coochie. Men love hearing their own names. Always call people by their name.
This is her mom. Like, this is the person.
This is her mom.
Yep. And then to hear her be this person.
We all have things. Right. But we all have things that our mom said to us growing up that like echo through our brain. And these being Margo's takeaway. She's thinking of things her mom told her about how to be more sexually appealing to men while taking her OnlyFans content is crazy. And the other piece of this is Margo knows that she's losing followers on OnlyFans for not showing enough. So she really doesn't think what she's doing is that bad in the grand scheme of things. She also finally felt like she found something that she was good at doing. And it wasn't about sex. It was about building a brand to her.
Right.
And Cheyenne absolutely will not hear it. She says that she'll finish shopping alone. And then Bodhi looks up at Margo and calls her mama for the first time.
Gut punch. Ooh, this writing.
But like, I know, but that's why Margo's doing it, to provide. Right. And she is providing for her little baby boy.
My little baby Bodhi.
Back at home, Susie and Margo work together to put Margo through a nerd school because they decide that that is her target audience, is this newly found alien woman. And nerd school consisted of playing video games and watching anime. No LARPing to be found, Miss Margo. After nerd school, Margo writes JB back and thinks back to being in class with Mark and him saying that authors use characters as paint to tell their own story. Again, this is so meta in this moment. And while Margo is writing him back, she kind of channels her disappointing day that she already had with Cheyenne into her reply. And she really dug deep. And she writes him back this massive message that includes, if the world doesn't know you are loved, then you are trash. Which I think is really a peek at Margo's climb for fame here, trying to search for something that she's been looking for pretty much her whole life.
Right, exactly that.
She asked JB his question, which is to reply with a portrait of his mom. And he replies pretty quickly, and he tells all, and Margo absolutely loves it. She kind of expected him to be a bored rich kid, but him talking about his mom really changed her point of view on him. And again, that speaks to getting to know an author through their writing.
Right.
Stories driving the story. We love it.
Like, just couldn't have executed it any better, you know?
And again, diving into it like this gives us that time to pause and think and talk and think back and think again.
Critical thinking
Bounce
skills.
It off a friend.
Reading comprehension.
The whole thing. Reading comprehension. Who?
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
The next day, in chapter 14, Cheyenne calls to apologize for being so harsh to Margo. And she tells Margo to stop while she can. Take down the account. And Margo doesn't, but tells her mom she will. Margo makes a really conscious choice, and she is going to give it 3 months. She's going to give it her all for 3 months, see where she lands. And I have the quote here. Absolutely untouched by this logic was the idea that a successful run as a porn star is much harder to bury than a failed one. Like, she's like, I'm going to give this 3 months and then I'm done. And it's like
completely arbitrary.
Okay, but if you get really famous, The entire week of Christmas was spent filming all of her new content and her scripts. And once Margo knew that Rose and KC were in, everything was full steam ahead. Susie was in on it, and she was doing some of the filming and doing food runs for them. Jinx was wearing the baby and directing, which I think that this visual of him baby wearing
Cannot wait.
Directly, it's in the preview.
Yes.
You could see it right now.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot wait. They shoot from Tuesday to Friday, and it takes Margo 3 days to edit everything, which honestly feels really fast.
I was going to say, damn, girl. I wish.
Right. A week's worth of content. She is just so enthralled in all this content making that she does all her Christmas shopping online, which I'm going to do anyway.
Same, girl.
You can't pay me to go into a store around the holidays. And she does book herself a trip to Vegas to go to her mom's wedding. And she was asked not to bring the baby, but she adds a lap infant, and she's hoping that Kenny being there will kind of dampen Cheyenne's reaction because she doesn't want to leave her baby. And I think that's completely reasonable. JB and Margo continue to message back and forth. They talk about sandwiches, their first boyfriend, their first girlfriend, and Margo talks about the project she's working on. And JB kind of suggests that she should go to film school, which is really interesting because she also says that, like, JB is the first person to call what she's doing work.
Mm-hmm.
And he really makes her reframe what she's doing many times.
Right.
This,
he makes
is kind of what he's good for. He like drives her into legitimacy.
Exactly that. Yeah. I'm like, he actually gives her the information to understand that what she's doing is actual skill building and whatnot, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And through this conversation, Margo finds out that JB is living in DC for a machine learning job. I don't know what machine learning is, but it fucking sounds like AI to me.
Yeah, not shit I want to be part of. That's what I'll say.
Christmas Eve, someone knocks on Margo's door at 6 a.m. and they need Margo and Jinx to sign for their packages before they could open them. Immediately, I'm like, they got an incredible gift. Wrong. Margo has been served by Mark with papers, and he is petitioning for full custody of Bodhi. And Jinx receives a restraining order, also from Mark. Poor guy. Margo's pretty confused by the restraining order, and Jinx confesses that he called Mark. He says, I called Mark and I yelled at him. I was so mad that he made you sign that NDA, that he was your teacher. It got to me. And I kept thinking, he's going to treat her like this, and he thinks no one's going to stand up for her.
Okay.
Again.
Don't play with my fucking feelings.
Margo's absolutely terrified by receiving these papers, and Jinx kind of says there's no way he can get full custody. Margo starts to really worry about the OnlyFans, which is legitimate. The thought here, and Margo talks about it too, the thought of Jinx calling Mark and cutting a promo on him.
She's like, well, this is what he does best.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Right. He turned into his in-ring persona and placed a phone call, and it was so legit that he got a restraining order because that is what he's good at.
A fucking professional.
Chef's kiss. A professional wrestler. Margo has no idea what to do, and she kind of starts to giggle once Jinx goes over talking about like snapping his fingers and doing all this stuff because it's just through and through a wrestling promo. And yes, Jinx tells Margo that she needs to lawyer up because this is just the way rich white people say fuck you, which I think is great feedback.
It is. Because
his mom already lawyered up.
Yeah.
Like,
he knows.
We're just back where we were. We get this fun little quote from Margo here, present Margo, telling the story, and says, part of this game is that you are going to realize certain things before I do. It's called narrative irony. I know because Mark put it on a test once.
Just a crazy jump here. Because, like, this is, like, chaos incarnate. It's so stressful. Your stomach has dropped. It's Christmas Eve. And then, like, future Margo jumps in here to be like, here's a little lesson. Like,
here's something that Mark taught me. That is
sucks. But also just like lightens the mood in a way too. It's again, this writing is just exquisite.
Rufi, I kind of hope you're not listening to this, but if you are,
Please don't.
we really love and appreciate you.
Please fucking don't. She'd be like, what are these two idiots talking about? Like, we just like the wrestling part.
Did you see her on the red carpet in the lime green Lucy and Yax?
Oh, yes. I was going to say in the Yaks. That's a real one.
Yeah. As if she's not in a bad enough space, Cheyenne then calls Margo with a, "You don't even love me anymore."
Kill me.
Worst. And Cheyenne kind of makes it clear that she thought that Margo would be spending Christmas Eve and Christmas with her. And Jinx is not included in this plan.
Yeah.
Margo feels guilty about that, but Jinx tells her to go for it. All this really does is plop Margo in church on Christmas Eve, and then she ends up sleeping on the floor of the rec room with Maude at Kenny's condo.
Like,
of course Kenny lives in a condo, you know?
Yeah, of course.
The church service that she attends is very much talking about Mary and Joseph and Immaculate Conception and him not believing her. And Margo learns that Mary was 12 to 14 years old when this marriage took place. And she's like, by any other name, Mary was raped.
Yes.
She was a child. And she's just absolutely floored by this information, sitting in this church full of people. I hate that church's vibe. I'm going to say it.
Yeah, I don't. Church is just never a positive thing for me, so I have nothing good to say.
No. Chapter 15, we arrive back at Kenny's house and everyone sits down for dinner. And she describes his condo, but the key takeaway I had here was there was a small wooden sign that said, "Pray hardest when it's the hardest to pray." Yeah. Kenny is Kenny.
Yep.
Margo goes to check out where she'll be sleeping, and there's a crib set up with a baby monitor, and Kenny and Cheyenne had bought this to make her feel welcome, and Margo knew that she would not at all be welcome if they knew what she was doing for a living, which is very accurate. After dinner, they each opened one gift, and Margo realized she had nothing for Kenny, but he was, quote, rich in all things that mattered, so he was fine with it. This facade that Cheyenne's putting on, that whatever
annoying.
Kenny's playing at,
like,
I hate it.
I hated it from the beginning.
Deeply hate it.
This is a woman who lives through the male gaze, and I just cannot stand a bitch that cares this much about a man's opinion, even to get to a place for her own self. Like, it's just exhausting. Mm-hmm. Like, I could not imagine being that person. I do not give a fuck. I truly and wholeheartedly do not give a fuck what a cis man has to say to me or thinks about me.
So real. But to be expected to fall in with it is so crazy.
Yeah.
Well, they're unwrapping their one gift. Margo had gotten Cheyenne a gold necklace with the ace of spades on it. And Cheyenne loves it. She is gushing about it in a way that Kenny is offended by it. He doesn't understand why Margo got it for her. And she tries to explain the gift, and really all it does is remind her that Cheyenne's pretending to be someone she's not. Margo knows that Cheyenne has a literal addiction to poker, and Kenny knows nothing about this.
Right. He feels so insecure, and it made me feel good.
Margo heads to bed, and she wishes sleeping Bodhi a Merry Christmas. And as she lays there, she thinks about what this night looks like for Mark and his wife. Like, stop giving this man energy. She also wondered what Mark's wife thought about him filing for custody of Bodhi, and she really thinks about it and assumes that this is just a tactic to scare her.
Yeah, fair.
He has 2 kids and a wife. Like, what? Full custody of this baby that your wife didn't have?
Right.
Okay.
Sure.
We'll get there, but you know. The day after Christmas, they post the first TikTok. It's a clip of Margo out on the balcony of Rose's and Casey's apartment, and they're scared of her, but they let her in. Margo says, "You have big, big tatas" to Rose, and then pukes silver paint all over her. Now, when I heard the initial pitch of like someone crawling out of the couch, I was like, oh, okay, this is so much weirder than I could ever imagine. but I cannot wait to see this on the TV.
Oh, I am so excited.
The next video is Margo in a bathtub, and Rose is trying to wash the paint off her, and Casey is asking Margo questions. After that, Margo's in the kitchen saying, "Ghost hungry," and eats dried pasta, and when she swallows that, she says, "Tinfoil?" Next, Margo's asleep on the couch with tinfoil all around her. Rose and Casey are off camera wondering what they should do with Margo and if she's an alien. Margo opens her mouth and a saxophone solo blares out. They put up a Twitter poll that says, "Should we keep the smoking hot alien we found on our back balcony?" 4,756 people vote yes.
Perfect.
Like, this is it. I would be watching this
100%.
enthralled.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Like, I have stumbled down wormholes like, what are these people doing? And if you've picked up on anything about me, I love character. So seeing someone do a bit like this would eat me up.
I love a bit. Yeah. Cute.
Love it. A few days later, Casey and Rose are over for dinner at Margo's, and Casey wonders if the content is too weird because it hasn't gone viral. They eat dinner, they drink a bunch of wine, they end up staying the night. And the next morning, as they're about to leave, Susie opens TikTok, and a video of Margo where she tried to plant a light bulb has 250,000 views. And this is enough to convince them to keep going.
Yes! Could you imagine getting that many views on something? I'd be jumping for shit myself because I was perceived that many times, but jumping for joy.
That happened to me.
Oh, I know.
I had a reel go viral.
That's right.
It got 500,000 views.
That's right. How was your viral moment?
Being perceived is scary. Scary. I remember Danica and I were at Disney and the phone was out and we were literally like watching the number. Tick, 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 tick. It was terrifying.
I would have left it in a room and left. Like, I would have had to walk away.
Also crazy, like, because it was for a small business. So not only were you watching these views go up, like, I'd post a reel. I remember one day I posted a reel and I went to the post office and I got like 9 orders driving to the post office. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? And literally something just blew up on TikTok. TikTok is crazy.
It is.
In the next clip, Margo befriends the Roomba, who she names Rigoberto. On New Year's Day, Susie calls Margo while she's shopping around in Target, and a YouTuber that Susie follows, Kiki, had made a reaction video to their entire web series. Her video has 1 million views and was only posted 2 hours ago. Being consistently perceived is way scarier.
Yeah, it is.
Her video was 8 minutes long and completely viral. 3 million views by the time Margo finished watching it. And Margo asks Susie what YouTubers make, and Susie tells her $3,000 to $5,000 per million views. All of Kiki's videos have between 12 and 15 million views. So she was making about $60,000 a video.
That feels fake.
That scares me. But also, like, for reaction content, not even for original content.
Right.
She just superimpose someone else's video. That's crazy. Everyone get your bread if you're not hurting anyone, you know?
Right.
That's crazy. Casey and Rose came over to celebrate, and by 10 p.m., all their TikToks that they had posted had over 1 million views. And they all wondered how many fans each of them would get. Casey had over 100 new followers. Rose had over 80, and Margo didn't really speak up until Jinx asked her at the end of the night, and she had over 400 new fans. Speaking of being perceived, my titties being perceived?
Right. Oh.
Nar. That night, JB messages Margo telling her that he needs to take a break. The lines were blurred between what was real and what wasn't, and Margo really didn't want their conversations to stop, but knew that this was a way for JB to tell her that he was starting to get real feelings for her.
Right.
Which has to be a scary place as a creator.
100%. And like that type of creator too. Like it's got to be interesting.
And she wrote, "The thing is, writing these messages with you has become the most interesting thing I get to do." And JB replied, "Yes, that's the same problem I'm having. I don't even know your real name." Margo doesn't really think that JB would track her down or try to kill her, but still messages him back and says that her name's Susie, and she immediately feels terrible about this. Just has this like pit of her stomach feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, quote, I knew there was no way I could ever tell JB the whole truth. If I told him I was a college dropout with a baby, no real career prospects, all of this would evaporate. This was the kind of spell that worked only at a distance, and all I could do was try to enjoy it while it lasted. As we roll into chapter 16, Becca, her high school friend, shows up at Margo's apartment, and everything looked exactly the same about her. She smelled the same, even though Margo hadn't seen her in a long time. And Becca and Margo talk about Becca's time at NYU. She hadn't gotten any parts in any of the plays. Her grades weren't great. She's really not having the best time. And after hours of talking, Becca invites Margo to go to a party that all their high school friends were having because they're all in town. And Margo says no. She really has no interest in going. And she also realizes that Becca didn't ask her a single question about herself.
Becca sucks.
Because of course she didn't. Becca sucks. The two get in a fight over Margo not wanting to go, and Becca goes full scorched earth here. She makes fun of Margo spending time with Mark. She says, oh, you thought you were so special, but you weren't. She tells her that Mark only picked her because she has daddy issues, claims that she was too scared to go to NYU.
Ripper. I wanted to kill her. Let's just
bully.
Yeah.
Bully. Like, Margo very much didn't have the money, didn't have the support, X, Y, and Z. And Becca just picks at every little insecurity she has.
And then, like, flipped the switch, too. Like, hard. She was like, oh,
yeah,
you ain't shit. Like, crazy energy out of this girl.
Yes. So Jinx overhears this and asks Becca to leave, and Margo asks her the same. And on the way out, Becca says, just so you know, getting knocked up by your professor and living with your pro wrestler dad is fucking trashy. Like, everyone is grossed out. They all talk about it, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on with her. Oh. Lennon Gabbard says he saw you on OnlyFans, and I had to spend like 20 minutes telling him that he had to be mistaken. And when Margo doesn't reply, she says, oh my God, it's fucking true. Are you serious right now? I don't believe it. Like, everyone knows your mom was a slut, but you, I thought Margo would never. She's only ever slept with 2 guys. Jinx escorts Becca out of the apartment, and once the door closes, she mutters, fucking unbelievable. The audacity of this woman.
I hate this bitch.
I hate her. Margo and Jinx eat ice cream together, and she's trying to pull the day off her and whatever just happened in this conversation. And Margo notices that her phone will not stop giving her notifications. And this is pretty normal, but they're a little too persistent. And she opens up her phone to her personal Facebook and sees that someone named Slut Sleuth on Facebook had posted Margo's photos from her OnlyFans account and tagged her.
Ugh.
Cheyenne saw, and she had commented, I have never been more ashamed than on this day. And Kenny liked the comment.
Fuck you, Kenny. Fuck you, Kenny.
Margo deletes the posts, blocks everyone she knew from high school from all the HungryGhost accounts, and Jinx asks if she wanted to close that account too, which is really supportive of him. Like, if you want to bail, bail. Mm-hmm. She said no, and with almost 30,000 followers, she was honestly pretty addicted to the thrill at this point. And Jinx worries about her getting even more doxxed with her name, with her legal name, with her address on OnlyFans itself. And then they all start thinking about the custody issue, because this is definitely going to come up now. Mm-hmm. Around midnight, Margo gets a text from Cheyenne. I have never been more ashamed in my life. Please don't come to Vegas. I don't think I could even stand to look at you. Kenny saw those pictures. I had to look him in the eye and say, yup, that's my daughter. And that I had known you were doing it and I hadn't told him. And I told him you promised you'd stopped and you lied to me. But he was furious and now he's sleeping in the rec room. And I will never forgive you for this, Margo. I never will. Cruel.
Yeah, I mean, like, this
to make that about your marriage, your relationship, absolutely insane.
But this is very Cheyenne.
And honestly, very Cheyenne. And Margo's main feeling about this was that she was excited to not have to go to Vegas. After the holidays, Jinx had made an appointment with the lawyer. Michael T. Ward, Esquire. He had dark hair, he was clean shaven, and fat in a way that suggested that he had played high school football. He used a lot of spiky gel in his hair, even though he was in his 40s at least, and he smelled strongly of cologne. Everyone can picture this man.
Mm-hmm.
Margo ended up shockingly liking him. He tells her that the California courts prefer 50-50 custody and reminds her that sex work isn't illegal. And Margo really doesn't think that Mark should have access to Bodhi at all, but Ward tells her that the courts frown upon one parent keeping their child from the other.
Yep.
And he says, I mean, it's his kid too. And Margo wonders to herself, was Bodhi Mark's kid? He had not risked his life to bring him into the world. Literally split himself open and stitched back together. Mark had not stayed up nights nursing, laying in bed, tiny pinching hands kneading sore breasts. Mark had not been puked on, not once. Miraculously caught spit up mid-air with a burp cloth. Mark had not trimmed Bodhi's nails or given him a bath or kissed his tiny feet or made him laugh. How on earth could Bodhi be his?
Exactly that. Like,
that's what we've been saying
the whole time. Like, this is perfectly
the whole time.
This perfectly encapsulates what this issue is. It's not the fact of its paternity. It's the fact that he didn't want anything to do with the situation itself and completely pretended like it didn't happen and made choices for Margo.
100%.
And ultimately, we'll see. We'll see how this goes.
And then Ward tells Margo, it's your kid, you know. It's the greatest pain and greatest love you've ever known. This is a bad situation where the other party seems to perhaps have malicious intent. If you feel overwhelmed, if you feel emotional, it's only natural. And then he goes and he gets her a donut from the conference room and they hire him.
A real G.
I'm so glad that this was a positive experience for her.
Yeah.
Because I was...
no more struggle.
Truly frightened. I was worried there for a second, but I'm so glad that turned out to be a positive experience.
Yes, we will pause there, girls.
We'll see you next week for the shocking conclusion.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you ever read the read?
I have a read the read.
Mine's kind of long, but it's hilarious.
I have a 5-star because I love this book. I want everyone to love this book. And this is from a woman named Bianca. 5 stars. Infinity stars. Worth the hype. This is what I call a slump breaker. In a slump, read this book. Even better on audio. I cannot wait for this show. It will become my entire personality. There were so many more layers to this book than Teen Mom Starts OnlyFans. And the readers basing their 1-star reviews on that alone need to reread or take a reading comprehension course. I said what I said.
Period.
She's us.
Yeah.
She's us.
Yeah, because these bitches have a lot to say on the evil side. I have a 1-star review from Mo, who has the craziest user picture. I had expected to be listening to a typical chick lit rom-com as I was wrapping my Christmas gifts, but I instead was treated to some softcore porn. I guess my mistake was not knowing what OnlyFans was when I read the book blurb. I have since learned that OnlyFans is a site where creators, predominantly women, can post exclusive content such as suggestive nude shots of themselves doing vulgar things.
Who wants to look at a naked man?
Real vulgar things as they interact with clients for a fee. And this is how our heroine Margo has decided to earn money. And this is what she talks about in the book. Just in case you think this is simply a case of me being completely prude again, you could go ahead and read the spoiler and judge for yourself. Prude again. So this is obviously a theme. And then she puts in the whole blurb about the she does the review, the first dick pic critique, and how it's Pokemon centered and how hilarious it is. And at the end of it, she goes, after several more passages like this, I decided enough was enough. Done. This has one comment, which is really what made me laugh. Teresa goes, rating low because you are out of touch with new social media mediums. That's not fair to the author at all. like,
ain't that the truth? 100%.
Her average rating is a 3.15.
Oh my gosh. Just a hater.
Hater. I think this book is excellent. I want to hear nothing bad about it. I don't care if it was optioned to be a show before it was released. I do not give a fuck. The writing is exquisite, and I will not hear any more bad things about it.
I absolutely agree. And with that, please rate, review, comment, engage, talk to us.
Talk to us. We're on Fable.
And we're everywhere. Drop in the Fable thing. Send us an email. Send us a comment.
Why not?
However you want to talk to us, we want to talk to you. And with that, we will see you at the library.
Bye. And then they kiss. And then they kiss.